We all know that feeling, right? Big global stuff happens, and you just want to get a quick handle on what it actually means for people. So today, we're diving into exactly that, a recent shift in U.S. policy towards Cuban migrants, specifically how it's suddenly changing things for them.
Yeah, affecting their hopes, their plans. We're working from a transcript, actually, from the Economic Times over on YouTube.
Right, and it gives us some really direct voices, people impacted, and a Cuban official, too. So our mission, really, is to understand the immediate human story here, but also the kind of wider ripples.
Exactly. It's about seeing where policy meets, well, real life. And it's quite a collision we're seeing here between this policy change and some deeply held personal hopes.
Let's start with one story that really brings it home. It's from a Cuban individual. They'd actually gotten approval, for a U.S. parole program.
Okay. So this was one of those programs allowing temporary entry under certain conditions.
Exactly. And for this person, it meant potentially seeing their daughter again. She's in the U.S. But this new policy, it basically just wiped that possibility away.
Wow.
Yeah, they said, and this is translated, their parole was set. They needed to see their daughter. She left 4 years ago. And now the parole's closed. It's just gone.
4 years. That's a long separation to begin with. And then to have the paperwork, the hope, just snatched away.
It really hits home, doesn't it? The human cost. They talked about, sacrificing everything, feeling like they're being forced backwards was the word used.
Yeah, it's not just red tape, is it? It's a huge emotional blow.
Yeah.
Especially after years apart, banking on that reunion. What really stands out to you there?
For me, it's the finality, doing everything right, following the rules, and then the ground just shifts beneath you. Shows how vulnerable people are in these big policy games.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. How is the Cuban government seeing this, particularly the deportations aspect?
Well, the Cuban official in the transcript made a point that's, pretty logical from their standpoint. Cubans leaving the country are still Cuban citizens.
Right. So if they're deported
back to Cuba. Makes sense on paper, but there's more to it.
Okay.
The official did say Cuba's open to talking with the U.S. about these, changing migration flows.
Yeah.
But they also flagged some real concerns about what happens in Cuba if large numbers return.
Like the capacity issue?
Exactly. They mentioned the current socioeconomic challenges. I mean, scarcity of basic goods, the power outage problems we hear about. The worry is a large influx of returnees could really strain things further.
Yeah, you can see that. More demand on already stretched resources, food, power.
Precisely. It paints a picture of a potentially quite significant logistical headache for the government. The official even hinted that, the Cuban government probably has plans for this.
Which makes you wonder what those plans are, right? And how that impacts life there day to day.
Right. And if you link that back to the person we first talked about, their dream of going to the U.S. is gone. But now there's also this added uncertainty about returning to Cuba that might be under even more pressure.
So the original reason for wanting to leave, seeking a better life, basically it now runs into roadblocks at both ends.
That sums it up pretty well. It's this real tension, isn't it? Between individual dreams, family reunification, just wanting something better.
And then, bam, you hit these shifting international policies and the hard realities of what a country can actually handle.
Yeah, it really throws that conflict into sharp focus. The sort of human desire versus the often quite rigid machinery of national and international rules.
Which kind of leads us to a final thought for everyone listening. Just think about the scale of this. How do these big policy decisions, often made miles away, filter down and actually reshape not just individual lives, but maybe even the entire landscape of a nation?
It's a complicated web, isn't it? So many interconnected factors.
Definitely. And those personal stories, like the one we heard, they're a powerful reminder of what's truly at stake, something to mull over.